Hi, so it's a sunny day outside and I'm thinking of packing a snack and going off on my travels. And what better for me to make, certainly, merely because I've got no bread to make sandwiches, is samosas. Easy to make and I really enjoy them. I'm going to be using onions, just a medium-sized onion. I've chopped it fairly fine. Ginger, I'll only be using, I don't know, about that much, and grating it, chopped it up fairly fine. Potatoes, now I'm using small, what they call salad potatoes here, only because they were beginning to sprout, so I thought I'd better use them. About 2 or 3 medium-sized potatoes if you're doing it normally. I had to boil and then skin these things, took ages. Frozen vegetables, just peas, carrots, beans. Normally you just throw peas in, but I'd got a load of frozen veg and I thought, I'll use that. Mustard seeds, I'm going to just pop them in the oil to give the oil some flavour before I fry the onions. Right, so I've got turmeric. That you might not have heard of before, but it's called, if I pronounce it right, Amchoor. It's dried mango powder. Coriander. I'll put the recipe at the end of the video if you want to make your own. So ground coriander, ground cumin, garam masala, and Kashmiri chili pepper. You can put as much chili in as you want. You can even put green chilies in if you like it hot. But the other ingredient is Filo Pastry, a bit of oil to fry things in, and I'll be melting some ghee to brush down the filo and to glaze things. So that's about all there is as far as ingredients. A bit of water, but other than that, simple to make. Right, so I've just put about half a teaspoonful of mustard seeds into the oil, and I'm letting the oil heat up and cook the mustard seeds till they start popping. Right, so the mustard seeds are about done now. They're popping away nicely. So I'm going to add into them the onions, let them brown for a while. Right, I'm also going to add about 2 teaspoons full of the ginger that I grated earlier. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier, I'm going to throw in a bay leaf. And next, all the dried spices. So that's turmeric, amchoor, which is dried mango powder, dried coriander powder, cumin powder, garam masala, and red chili powder. So they can all go in, and as with all spices, they need cooking. You have to cook your dried ingredients, your dried spices, to get rid of the raw powdery flavour. It only takes a couple of minutes, but you need to do it. It's a fairly essential step. I might add just a splash of water in this to help the spices cook. Right, so hot water, not cold. If you add cold water, it stops your sauce cooking, it cools it down and interrupts the cooking process. See, the spices are beginning to form quite a nice paste with the oil and the onions and the mustard seeds. Right, next I'm adding the potatoes. Looks like there's a lot, but they'll turn to mush, some of them. Just want to coat everything with the paste. And the frozen veg. You can also include meat if you want, make meat samosas. And now add about half, 3/4 of a cup of, once again, hot water, not cold. We want to, the potatoes are cooked, but we want to simmer them in the sauce to pick up the flavour. May add a few more frozen peas, frozen veg. You normally see peas in samosas. They're not some exotic Western vegetable. They are used quite a lot in India. Right, I'm going to let it simmer now for about 10 minutes. Most of the liquid will disappear. You don't want it too wet, but you need enough water in to cook the spices properly and to let the potatoes absorb the flavour. I'm chopping some of the potatoes because I don't want it too chunky. Right, so I'm going to turn down the heat, put on the lid and let it simmer for about 10 minutes. For about 10 minutes now, I'm just going to take out the bay leaf because it's done its job. The frozen veg will have cooked now. A lot of the potatoes, as you can see, have started breaking down, so it's not too chunky. It's a nice thick mixture. You don't want it too watery for samosas. So what I'm going to do now is turn off the heat and let it cool down until I start making the samosas, but I want it to be completely cool before then. Well, what I have done is, because potatoes tend to absorb a lot of salt type flavours, I've given it a taste test and added salt to season it. Right, so we're at the next stage. The mixture's cooled down. I've got out my Filo Pastry, and what I'm going to do is butter, or ghee in this case, butter, two sheets of Filo Pastry. Laying one over the other. In case you're wondering, this is just an ordinary paintbrush. Not using a fancy pastry brush. And I'm going to cut this in about three strips. I may cut it into 4 for later ones, but right now I'm going to get about a tablespoonful of the mixture and grabbing both layers of the Filo Pastry, turn it into a triangle. Turn it over again, and again, and again, and again. Bit much there. Right, so turn it over. And again. And again. Folding it this way seals every side. So none of the filling can escape. I think I'm going to stick with 3 strips with this Filo pastry. Right, so repeat the process. And it's just a case of repeat until you've used up all the mixture. Or in this case, I'm only going to make half the mixture and freeze some of it. Now, I've used about half the mixture to make a dozen generously filled, let's put it that way, samosas. Right, so let's see if I can get lined up in my oven tray. Yeah, they fit quite well. Right, so the final task before I bung them in the oven, which I'll be baking at 200 centigrade, what's that, 400 Fahrenheit. Gas mark 6. I'm just buttering the top. Sprinkle just a few sesame seeds, and they're going to go in the oven for about 20 minutes, middle shelf rather. So here's the first batch of finished samosas, straight out the oven, and they're a bit hot still. Some of them I've just rubbed down with the leftover ghee butter, but otherwise they're nice and, let's see if I can get one nice and crispy. Oh. With a mild vegetable filling, not hot, bit of bite at the back of the throat, but otherwise quite mild sweet vegetable filling. Potato, some mixed veg and seasonings. Oh, nice.